Okay, in this video, let's look at sub-xsheets and how we might be able to animate with them. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have a new project and I'm just going to come in here and create a new scene. And we will call this sub-x EX, for example, 1. And 1920 by 1080, 24 frames a second, automatically save every 20 minutes. And everything looks good, so let's hit create. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to first set up my brushes that we can reuse over this project, okay? So I'm going to create a new Toonz raster level, and I'm just going to call this CH for character, and we're going to have this be character 1. And I'm thinking maybe we could draw like a little monster or something. So let's hit OK and hit yes. And let's come over here to our level palette. And we're going to change this color _1 to a pencil. Let me scoot this over slightly so you can see. I'm just going to scroll down. I really like to use this little pencil, like 2B pencil. And we can call this our pencil brush. Let's just use one pencil. Yeah, let's just keep it simple. And now I'm going to click on these little dots right here, this little grid of dots, and I'm going to drag it up to project palette and let go. And if I open this folder, you see CH1. That's the brushes we just made, or the brush, okay? And we're going to use that for every new column that we create, okay? So let's go ahead and just sketch a little character. And I'm just going to kind of zoom in a little. I'm going to start with the eyeballs. And let's just give him a little smile. Just give him these teeth like this. And he's just gonna stand here, okay? So he's got kind of like this fur. Okay. Maybe fur like this. He's got these little legs and feet. And maybe he's standing like this. Just something quick for this example. And since he's a little monster, let's give him horns. Let's give him these little horns that come up like this. I like these little horns. Okay. Yeah, he's kind of cute. And let's give him a little tuft of hair right there. Okay, great. So that's our first character. Okay. And let's go ahead and animate this character. Let's just do it frame by frame. So what I'm going to do is insert frames. Okay. And I'm just going to come down. And you could, if you want to make his lines wiggly or whatever, I'm just going to have him stand here for a few frames. Then he's just going to do a simple blink. So I'm going to come down here to frame 25. And I'm going to click to create our second drawing. So it's a blank drawing right now. And I'm going to toggle. I'm going to go drawing to drawing. Okay. I'm just going to flip from our first drawing to our second one. Okay. And right now our second drawing is empty. I'm going to go to the first drawing. I'm going to select him. And I'm going to copy and go to our second drawing and paste. Okay. And now I'm just going to erase the eyes. This will just kind of speed up the process. We could redraw him, kind of keep that line alive, but I'm just going to do it like this for now. Turn on onion skinning. And I like how on SpongeBob they have these like squish like eyes like this. Like their blinks are kind of like this. I still like it. Okay. And now if you flip from drawing to drawing, we can see him blink. Okay. So now he's going to blink and he's going to hold that for Let's have him hold it for 3 frames, and then he's going to come back to drawing 1. So let's double click frame 28, hit 1 on the keyboard and enter. And this will bring us back to that first drawing. So now let's insert some frames and hold this down. And we'll do 2 seconds. So 40, 24, 48. 48 frames. Okay, so let's just hit play. Okay, so there's our first blink. Okay, on our first character. So we're going to make him a sub-x sheet. So let's call this column ch1 for character 1. And now let's right click and collapse. And I also created a shortcut up here on my Xsheet toolbar. If you want to add something up there, you can just right click on your Xsheet, customize Xsheet toolbar, and now you can just find whatever command you want and just drag it over to here, and you can create these separators. I'm just gonna delete that one, so I'm gonna right click, remove, define scanner. But yeah, so if you're using a lot of commands over here, I really recommend setting this up. And this is how I have mine set up. I can create different levels. I can reframe on 1s, 2s, and 4s, or auto renumber. And then for sub-x sheets, I have collapse, save sub-x sheet, open, close, and toggle edit in place. And we're going to look at this toggle edit in place in a little bit, okay? It's really important. So now I have a sub-x sheet created, and we could rename this. We could call it S, because we know it's a sub-x sheet, and ch1. And now let's go inside the sub-x sheet. And you can think of it like this is a container, like a can of Pringles, okay? And we could animate this column. We could move this can of Pringles all around, and whatever's inside there will follow this can of Pringles, okay? All the chips inside. So if we select the column and we go open sub-x sheet, and you can also right click and open sub-x sheet. Now we see that character and all of the animations that we made down to frame 48, okay? And we can edit this. We can come in here and animate him some more. We could add another column, a column for color. We could add a cleanup layer. We could separate him into different parts, okay? So let's back out of this, close sub-x sheet, and we're going to create a second character. I'm just going to turn off this onion skinning. Okay, so let's go to column 2, and we'll call this ch2 for character 2. Hit OK, and I want to reuse the brush that I made before. So I'm going to come up here to our project palette and select ch1 and just pull it down here to level palette. And now I have access to that pencil. Okay. Oh, and since I was on frame 36, that's where it created our first drawing. So I'm just going to click it and drag it all the way to the top. Okay, and this is going to be our second little monster. And so this will just kind of be like a character lineup, like a little monster lineup. Okay. I'm just going to rough him in real quick. Maybe he's really tall. Okay, get some construction lines. Maybe he has this like big kind of muppety nose like this. That might be kind of cute. Maybe you don't see his eyes. Maybe he just has this like one eyebrow. And maybe his mouth is kind of like behind his nose like this. Okay, and maybe his horns are turned down like this. Maybe he has like, what if he has like this poofy hair, and then maybe his fur is kind of like more like kind of like lamb fur. It's just kind of like poofy like this. That'd be kind of cute, I think. And maybe he has these like long arms that come down like this. These long fingers. And then maybe he's got these long kind of legs like this. Maybe big feet. Okay, so let's give him an animation. So let's insert some frames. Oops, I'm gonna lock this first column so we don't accidentally edit it. And I could pull this handle down like this, which will hold the first drawing, but I have a hotkey set up, so I'm going to insert some frames. Okay, we're going to come down here to about frame, I don't know, 15. And what we're going to do is we're going to have him like scratch his head, okay? So I'm just going to reuse a lot of this drawing just to kind of speed up the process. So I'm going to click to create a blank drawing right here. Turn on the onion skinning. And I'm just going to grab, I'm going to copy his drawing at the first frame that we did. I'm going to go down to frame 15, our second drawing. I'm going to paste. Okay, and this will be our key pose. So this will be him. He's just going to reach up and he's just going to get his fingers in here. He's just going to dig around at his, gonna scratch his head. It's itchy. He's got itchy head. Okay. And his arm, it may have to grow a little, but that's fine. We'll just have it come up like this. Redraw that a little. Okay. And if you don't like that, change it. I'm gonna kind of make it look like his shoulder. And it comes up a little like this. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now let's get into that scratching his head. Okay. So let's come in here and I'm just going to do this on twos. I'm going to click to create a drawing. And I'm going to copy and paste just so we can reuse that. And I'm going to turn on onion skinning down here so I can see. So let's get his hand coming up. Okay, so I have him animated. Let's reset rotation and kind of zoom out. And let's just hit play. Okay, he scratches his head and this little guy blinks. Okay, and it's the same timing. It's 48 frames. It's the same length, I guess. And I've auto renumbered all my frames. So let's go ahead and call this column CH2 for character 2. And let's create a sub-x sheet out of it. So let's right click and collapse. And let's double click and call this S for sub and CH2. Okay. And it's really important to try to stay organized, okay, by naming everything. So now let's go into this character. So we have the sub-x sheet, okay, which we could animate him going like whatever. We could animate this whole sub-x sheet. But let's go inside here and look at the animation that we just created. Open sub-x sheet. Okay, and you see how the first character disappeared? So if we start animating this guy, we don't know where he is in relation to the other sub-x sheets. So what we can do is come up here to toggle edit in place. Okay, and this will show all of the other columns outside of this column. Okay, if we close character 2, now we see character 1 and character 2 sub-x sheet. If we go inside character 1. Let's turn off toggle in place and go inside this. See how the second character disappears? But if we turn on toggle edit in place, so now if we hit play, we can see both of their animations. Okay, and if we turn off this toggle in place, we only see the character in the sub-x sheet we're in. And again, we could open this sub-x sheet and we could come in here and create a new column, and we'll call this ch2 color. Okay, we're going to drop it below this first one, and we're just going to pick a color. I think I want to do kind of like this green, kind of a greenish blue. We're just going to give him a little bit of color. Let's pick a brush. Really like this brush right here. It looks like a little piece of chalk. And let's come up in here and just color our little monsters. I'm going to go over and do the same thing for the second monster. And since his body isn't changing, I'm just going to hold this color column all the way down for the length of the animation. And now let's hit play. And there he is, our little colored monster. So let's back out of this. Let's close this one. And let's go into this, the first character we created. Let's open his sub-x sheet and create a new column. And we'll call this color and ch2. And move it to the left. So this puts it under our line art. And again, let's find a color. And these might end up changing. Let's come in here, and I like this little brush down here. And let's just color him in. I'm just going to keep it loose and rough. And again, I'm going to hold this column all the way down for the length of the animation. And let's back out and go back into character 2. So don't be afraid, you know, to play with these sub-x sheets. They're really fun once you kind of get the hang of them. And I'm going to change him a little more green, like this. And I'm going to make his hair a darker green. I kind of digging that, something like this. Okay, let's just color his nose, and let's make his horns something like this. This might be kind of cute. Maybe that's why they get along, because he has a little bit of color, same as the other guy. All right, cool. So I hope you had fun with this little sub-x sheet tutorial in OpenToonz. And until next time, happy animating, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.